Hey guys, what's going on? It's MajiinBae. Welcome back to the channel. So today is seasonals in a couple hours, actually, for you guys. It's the night before for me. I want to talk to you about my big news, basically, and the decks I'm planning on bringing. Spoiler alert, still playing. Actually, I got spoiled by my own article. So I, along with my friend Aikato and fellow Mastering Runeterra Pro, are going to be casting the top 32 of seasonals. That's on Sunday. We did get the green light to go ahead and still play in the open rounds on today, Saturday. That way we could try to accumulate Worlds points for the Worlds qualifiers. But yes, I will not be playing in the top 32, even if I qualify. That way I could cast. It just sounded like a really cool opportunity. I'm really excited about it. So if you want to see me cast the top 32 of seasonals, along with Aikato, Casanova, Boulevard, and Skarzig, go ahead and check us out on the Legends of Runeterra Twitch channel on Sunday. Anyway, that being said, open rounds. A lot of stuff we can be playing. I think I finally nailed my lineup down. It's kind of boring. Warning. I really wanted to play Ahri Bard because I love the deck. I love Ahri. Everyone who's ever watched me play knows that. I love Ionia. However, Ahri is awkward. The Ahri Bard deck doesn't quite work out for a lot of lineups because the ban is awkward. You really need to be banning Winding Light, and then there's a couple other decks and matchups that you don't really want. You do actively want to play against Thralls, and so if you want to play Viktor, Aphelios, Vi, right here, then you want the opposite. You want to play in the mirrors, and you don't want to play against Thralls, making your ban again really awkward. So you could play Ahri Bard, but then you give up the best deck, or you give up synergy. That's like these are your options. So I actually wrote an entire article on why you shouldn't bring Ahri Bard to seasonals. So we're not bringing Ahri Bard. I tried really hard. I couldn't make it work. Not in a package that I felt super comfortable with. However, Henneke, another teammate of mine, is going to be bringing Ahri Bard, Scion, and Aphelios PNZ, and I hope he does really well. I hope he brings glory to Ahri Bard. Anyway, deck number one, not a huge surprise. Aphelios Winding Light. The deck's insane. It's the best tournament deck right now, and I don't think it's particularly close. Been crushing ladder for so long. You have so many matchups where you just cast Winding Light and you win the game. Ahri Bard's one of them. And I feel like the deck's really good. I chose to go at the mirror in a specific way, including Viktor and having a slightly bigger package. Lol. I have the full 3 copies of Some Treasure. I have less copies of Flame Chompers in the actual deck. Just one, not including the ones from Boon But Boon. Just slightly bigger. We have the full Burn Suite as standard, 3 Pale Cascades, 1 Hush, a couple Poro Cannons, and a Piltover and Tailstones to keep our opponent on their toes. I like the deck. I think the deck's really good. I considered going up to 2 Vi to really be solid into Demacia, but decided against it because I think Viktor is absolutely just such a powerhouse in this deck. Every time I see Viktor, I'm happy to see him, so I stuck with the 2. I did see some people going with the Aphelios Zoe line, and then including things like Submersible and Suit Up, which I think is a super cool way to approach some bad matchups and to give you some extra points in the mirror because you absolutely ruin your opponent's Mystic shots and get excited on things like Zoe or a Poro. But since I practiced with the Viktor one, haven't really had time to practice with the other one, this is the one we're going with. So our lineup starts with Aphelios, Viktor, Vi, as a lot of lineups should, honestly. I got something in my eye. Sorry, guys. Where does it go from here? Well, not incredibly surprising. Nami, Twisted Fate. This is the Drizzoth pile that's been very popular among a lot of competitive players. Honestly, nothing too crazy about this deck card-wise. Why I picked this deck was it shares Aphelios PNZ's weakness for Thralls. It wants to do the same ban. It has all the good matchups, and I think it is favored into Aphelios Winding Light, especially with this copy of Ruination. Helps a ton. And what my lineup wants to do is not ban Winding Light and have a good matchup into it. Not necessarily crush it. I'm not looking to counter Aphelios Winding Light. I just want to be happy to play against it, right? And so far, our shell does that pretty well. We have a deck that I think is teched for the mirror, and then we also have Nami Twisted Fate, which has a slightly good matchup into Aphelios Winding Light. Twisted Fate is really good, especially if you can get him pumped. It's incredibly hard for your opponent to deal with. You have things like Tentacle Smash, which is really good. Your big go wide turn is hard for them to deal with. And with things like Vengeance, the One Ruination, your Tentacle Smash, and your Vile Feast, you're able to kind of keep them down so that their Winding Light turn isn't so domineering. It's really important that you do that. Trade the board down. The only big adjustments I made in this is that there's no copy of Harrowing, which has become quite standard. I don't actually like Harrowing in this deck. I find that games where I lose are either the games where I get blitzed out because I can't cast enough spells in time, or the games where I don't find my win conditions, right? My Nami and my Shellys and things like that. And Harrowing helps neither of those situations. I don't tend to lose games where I don't win, where I don't lose early and draw my win conditions. I usually win those games. I don't need another card to help me there. What I want is cards to help me get there, right? So I have 2 copies of Answered Prayer. I only have 2 copies of Coral Creatures, but I have the 2 Vengeance, the 1 Ruination, the full Vial, the 3 Tentacle Smash, all those kinds of things. Pretty excited to play this deck. I don't think I'm one of the best players of this deck. Not even remotely close. I haven't been able to put in the raw practice that I need. I spent a lot of time on Ari Bard, which I'm not going to say is wasted because it did put me second on ladder as the lock-off finished. But it would have been possibly time better spent on this deck. I'm so sorry I'm yawning a bunch. I yawn when I monologue. The final deck is, of course, well, not of course, but it's Dark Donger. I put a lot of thought into this deck 3. TF, Nami, and Aphelios Viktor Winding Light are it's a very popular shell, very strong shell. And I want to finish it off with something that wanted to do the same things. And I also wanted something that's rather strong into Demacia, because I expect a lot of people's third deck to be a Poppy Bard, to be a Poppy Taric, or Scouts, right? And I want something that's quite good into that, and Jayce Heimer is good into that. It's good into Aphelios PNZ, it's good into the Demacia decks. That's what I was looking for. I've also had a lot of practice on Jayce Heimer decks over the last 2 or 3 seasons, I feel like. Really put in a lot of time with them. I like how I play them. I like how the deck feels. Some choices we have here are the full 3 Forge Chief. I don't want to get ran over early. And I really like just starting game with turn 1 Forge Chief sets you up so nicely because you can get a trade-off. You still bank your spell mana so that you can get to the 6 on turn 3, right? For either Production Surge or one of these. Really, really like the card. Not going up to Albus because the meta is just too fast for Albus Pharos right now. The full 3 Production Surge, only 2 copies of Thermo, only 2 copies of Glimpse, only 2 copies of Mystic Shot. I needed to find the room for 3 copies of Flash of Brilliance. When I play Heimerdinger, I want to take over the game, and Flash of Brilliance really does that brilliantly. What it doesn't do is anything else good. The card is honestly not good, but it really does what I needed to, and that's just help me do some turbo Heimerdinger things. Piercing Darkness, really like against the Demacia decks as a catch-up mechanic. I also really like it in the mirrors, and against Aphelios decks. It catches you up. You will take incidental damage playing this deck, and Piercing Darkness brings you back to where you need to be, especially if you can Jayce double it. It's absolutely insane. Really like having a couple copies. Then we have the full sets of Shock Blast and Vengeance. Shock Blast, the premier 6-drop spell in this deck, I would say. Very, very good on your turn 3. Very good after. Incredible to double with Jayce. Incredible. Really strong spell. It's a burn spell that goes upstairs for a ton of damage. Really, really powerful. Vengeance is there by necessity. The deck is not fast enough to not run Vengeance. You need to be able to deal with these threats. The Poppies, the Tarics, Aphelios on the Winding Light turn. You need to be able to kill something. You need to be able to kill Nami, right? And that's what Vengeance does. Just ask no questions. It just kills something, and that's what we're looking for. The doubling with Jayce, not really relevant ever, but you can get around Spell Shield. I like to run the full 3. I will likely, between right now and when I register in seasonals, try to find room for 1 copy of Ruination. I don't know what I'm going to cut yet, but if you see me running, if you see me playing, expect the 1 copy of Ruination. So yeah, that's the lineup. Ban strategy is going to be mostly Thralls. I'm just going to ban Thralls, honestly. And then after that, we're going to get a little bit creative with our ban strategy. I don't really want to play against Krokshan, the Akshan Renekton deck, because I feel like whether I win or lose doesn't have a ton to do with me. I've had quite a bit of experience playing around those kind of decks, but sometimes they do the thing and you had no opportunity to stop them. And that annoys me. So maybe that deck will eat a ban. I might ban Nami TF because it's a pretty bad matchup for Jayce Heimerdinger, and I really just don't want to play mirrors. I don't have the experience to play it at a level that I feel comfortable with. But yeah, that's the lineup. I think I'm bringing a ton of raw power, which I always look to do, and I have a lot of experience with Aphelios Viktor and Jayce Heimer Dinger. So yeah, open round starting in about 4 hours, actually, after this video goes out. I believe video is going to go out at 8 a.m. Pacific. And the first, never mind, I lied. Ignore this. Ignore this part. It'll start at 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to watch me play, come hang out. Twitch.tv/MajiinBae LOR. I'll be live the whole day. There will be a delay on the stream, but it's fun to see the games live. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out. Good luck at seasonals. See you next time.